So what we're going to cover today are these goals and expectations. Light switch.
Behind the microwave.
Okay, so the goals today are to introduce you guys to knives and smallwares in a more physical, hands-on setting than last time. Last time we went over it, just kind of looking at them and kind of identifying what they are so we have a good understanding. This time, we're going to identify and cut classical knife cuts, identification and proper use of smallwares, and identification and anatomy of 7 types of knives, which we did already. So this time we're going to do ACF standard 4.2 and 4.1. Can I get a volunteer to read those out? Go ahead, Frank.
Identify and demonstrate proper and safe use of food processing and cooking equipment. Demonstrate knife skills and proper cuts. Julienne. Bayonet. Bâtonnet. Brenois. Passan. Small dice, large dice, etc. Emphasizing proper safety techniques.
Okay, so obviously there's a couple words there that we don't really understand, but we will go over it, such as Julienne, Bâtonnet, Brenois. So today the desired understandings that I want to get from you guys. Can I get a volunteer to read these out as well? Brittany, go ahead.
Students will understand that tools are used in the kitchen to make work faster and more efficient. Students will understand that ingredients are cut to appear better and cooked evenly. Students will understand that ingredients are measured to ensure accuracy and repeatability.
Okay. So this is kind of what we're going to be going over today. This is why I want you guys to gather and kind of understand by the end of the lesson. Also, these are a couple of questions I want us to think about. Can I get a volunteer for this as well? Mike.
Why are tools shaped the way they are? Why do we measure some ingredients and not others?
So does anybody have any kind of, guess right now about why specific tools are shaped the way they are? Take a spoon, for example. Why is the spoon shaped the way it is? You too?
Shaped that way because it has a certain purpose it needs to uphold to.
Exactly. The tool has a specific purpose. Like a lot of the tools that we have in the kitchen here, they have very specific purposes, and we need to know how to use them to work more efficiently and faster in the kitchen. Does anyone have a guess as to why we measure some ingredients and not all of them in the kitchen? Anyone? Alright, think of it this way. Why, when we're boiling potatoes, do we not measure the water, but we measure the amount of potatoes? Anyone? Any kind of guess? Alright, so in the lesson we're going to go over that, but essentially the reason why water isn't measured as much is because that's the medium of which we're cooking something in. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect the final product as much. It does a little bit here and there, but not as much as the amount of potatoes that we have. If you don't have enough potatoes, you can't serve as many people. Whereas if you don't have enough water, you can still do other things, but it's not as impactful. You might just have to change the menu a little bit. So knives, tools, and cutting. Why? Why do we use tools? And why do we measure ingredients? Anybody? Sarah?
We use tools to do a task that easier or quicker.
Okay, easier and quicker. How about ingredients? Why do we measure those?
Consistency.
Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
So you can have a consistent product.
Okay. So a couple things that I came up with. These here. So we use tools to cook things. Obviously, we're not cavemen. We're not cooking over an open fire anymore. We have more specific tools like pots and pans that can cook things in a contained area. Obviously, we use knives to cut things. We do that to, like I said earlier, uniform shapes and sizes, and as well as portioning, and they cook evenly. It's also safer than, like I said, cooking over an open fire like cavemen used to. It's more efficient. Again, with ingredients, we measure the ingredients in recipes so it's repeatable. So if I'm making mashed potatoes today, I can make the same exact mashed potatoes the next day and the next day after that. Same thing with it being measurable, and it's more of a science. A lot of people think that baking is more of a science, but at the same time, cooking is just as much of a science because you're still measuring things. If you want a very consistent product over and over again, you want to use science and keep things written down in a scientific way. Look at McDonald's, for example. All of their restaurants all over the country have the exact same recipes or formulas for their burgers and fries and everything like that. The only way to do that is having ingredients measured out and portioned exactly the way they need to. It also makes it accurate. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to demo the knife cuts. I have a handout here. Could I have somebody pass this out, please? Can I get one of those? And Brittany, can you pass this one up? So on this first page, it has kind of a basic breakdown of knife skills. It goes over things that we did yesterday, like the anatomy of a knife and how to hold your fingers, curling them back and using it as a guide as your not dominant hand. So this kind of is a visual way to remember these things. And down at the bottom, it has the type of cuts that we're going to go over today. Medium dice, bâtonnet, allumette, or julienne. Small dice, the julienne, or fine julienne, and brunoise. On the second page, this will be more necessary on our next activity, which is volumetrics and being able to find the equivalence in measuring things. As an example, 4 cups equal 1 quart. So take this home, study this. This will play more into detail in the next lesson, but I want to give you guys the information ahead of time. I also have another little cheat sheet here for basic knife cuts. Maybe somebody else pass this up. Thank you. So these are the basic knife cuts that we're going to go over, and these are the dimensions of them. We do this so it's very consistent. We know exactly if somebody in a kitchen says, hey, can you large dice this carrot for me, or this potato, you can know exactly what it's supposed to look like. It's 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch, which would be a perfect square, making it evenly cooked each and every time. Same thing with bâtonnet, medium dice, julienne, and small dice. These are very common knife cuts that are going to be used over and over again in every kitchen. So getting to know them now, you can better recognize and read and understand recipes that call for these specific vocabulary terms. So how to cut food or ingredients. Today we're going to be cutting potatoes. So I want to break down the basic way of cutting everything. So the first thing you want to do is square off the vegetables so you have a flat cutting surface. So it's not wobbling around in your hands. I'll actually demonstrate that now with a potato. So the first thing you want to do is cut off one slice of it to make it stable. So it's not moving around in your hands, and it's not, it's more controlled and consistent. The next one I have on here is to cut straight slices. So from the side you want to cut straight slices off the potato. So you have these nice flat straight pieces here. These scraps we'll use still, so they're not something to throw away. Today we're going to have mashed potatoes with the scraps and diced potato hash with the actual dice that we have. That way there's no waste besides the potato skin on here that we can actually use every bit of it. So once you have these straight slices here, you want to cut the planks out of them. So again, you want to go through and cut through. So you have these nice planks here. So you have the slices and then you have the planks. So as you go through, you go from slices to planks, and then from there you can cut your dices out of it. So from slice to plank to dice. That way you're flowing through all 3 of them, and it's the same procedure for all the different cuts. Whether it's a large dice, a small dice, or a medium dice, you're going to follow the same procedure, but changing the dimensions of when you slice with your dominant hand and your guiding hand. So from there, does anyone have any questions about how to do these cuts so far? Everybody remembers how to be safe with the knife and how to keep everything. Yeah, good. All right, so now I want to break everybody up. Everybody find a partner, please, and we're going to actually practice this in class. And yeah, we'll move on from there.
I'm going to partner with Brittany.
There are potatoes on the back. Everybody please grab 2 potatoes. And I have peelers around the kitchen if you need them. Please let me know.